Any possibility Baylor gets in? I think they have to win out.
Yeah, they have to win out because the schedule's not going to stack up. They don't have good game control, which is, something the committee has pointed to in the past. Look, you play Oklahoma this weekend. It's a big matchup for Baylor. They're 9-0. OU's 8-1. Kind of an elimination game, in my opinion. Maybe there's some weird path where Baylor won out, but I don't really see it.
It's a de facto elimination.
I think Baylor has to win out, starting with OU on Saturday.
Because with where Baylor's ranked, they lose this game. Even if they, beat Oklahoma in the championship game, they're going to be down in that, 15, 16
Too
range.
much ground
maybe
to make
17 up. Even. Maybe they stand pat because there are a bunch of two-loss teams
behind them. The Big 12 being down this year doesn't help their cause. It's a one-loss team. Quite frankly, OU's path is pretty tough.
Texas TCU kind of hurt that in a pretty big way, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But there is a path. It's just an incredibly difficult one to see
It's
happen.
simple. Win out. I don't see how you can't leave Baylor out if they win.
Frankly, even if Baylor drops this game, they're 13 right now. Wisconsin, Michigan, Notre Dame, those are all two-loss teams. I'm not going to drop Baylor in my rankings if I were in charge.
I think it depends how they lose.
Yeah, so I think that's the key thing there for Oklahoma and Baylor. I'm very curious to see how that ends up going there. Let us know what you guys got in the comments, but I'm going to Oklahoma this week.
Yeah, I think they cover too. I think they make a statement this weekend.
Let's get back to that live Q&A here. Reminder, use hashtag CFP in the comments section. Tyler Avon, Minnesota at 8, is it disrespectful? Their season didn't begin versus Penn State. They spent the first 8 games struggling with wins and blowouts versus non-bowl teams with backup quarterbacks. You want to chime in there, Harrison?
Here's the problem. Yeah, the first 3 weeks are bad. They struggled through their non-conference schedule. I think they survived Fresno in double overtime, which is not a great look.
Barely beat Georgia Southern.
But what have you done for me lately? Their average margin of victory the last 6 weeks is over 26 points. They just controlled Penn State at home. Is it the best schedule ever? No, but
I'll throw this in there too. They blew out Illinois. And all you can do is beat the teams that are presented against you, especially if you're a Power 5 school. If they drop a game, fine, whatever.
They blew out everybody the last 6 weeks. They're doing what they have to do. I don't really understand. I'm not saying it's the most disrespect ever, but okay, I'll ask you this, Tyler. How is Utah ahead of Minnesota? If you have a good argument for me, please comment it below. I could see arguments for the top 6. Utah has no business being ahead of Minnesota, period.
Nixon wants to know who the top 4 is, so we'll break down the top 6 for you guys because we're overachievers here at Chat Sports. LSU, they check in at number 1. OSU's number 2. Clemson's number 3. Georgia's 4. Bama's 5. And Oregon checks in at number 6. So, once again, this week, 3 of the top 5 teams are SEC.
Yeah, and, I probably would have Georgia ahead of Alabama, Tom, but I don't know if I'd have either in the top 4. Maybe Georgia, but, again, do I think Minnesota is one of the 4 best teams in college football? Probably not. But they've earned that right, I think. We've compared them to Clemson a couple of times now. You take the jerseys off the names off the jersey, resumes very similar. And we have Clemson at number 3. It's a flawed process. Minnesota still win and get in. I get that, but that doesn't mean they didn't get it wrong this week having them at number 8.
All right, folks, if you love college football like we do, then you're at the right place. If it's your first time watching Chat Sports, we keep you covered on all things college football. We will have the CFP rankings revealed weekly here on Chat Sports, so make sure you subscribe. The link there is below. You're watching on YouTube. Hit that big red button. We got you guys covered on everything you need college football, especially Heisman coming up here in a little bit. Maybe some bowl projections for you guys, too. Make sure you're subscribed. Picky6 wants to know, will a group of 5 team ever make it into the CFP?
I like this question, and the answer is no.
Not 4 teams.
In the current system, yeah. I think that's another reason you have to expand. You got to do one of 2 things. The group of 5 either needs to break off and have its own playoff system.
Yes.
Or you got to expand the playoff, because this year isn't a great example because there's not an undefeated. But I think this is what I would do. I would expand to 8, and an undefeated group of 5 team, auto bid. I don't care if they come from the MAC. I don't care if they come from the American. Now, if there's multiple, then the highest ranked one, whichever one the committee thinks is the most deserving. But here's the problem. You can't go into a season knowing you have 0% chance to win a national championship, and half of the teams in the country go into the season knowing that goal is impossible.
Even if they go undefeated.
Impossible.
Yeah. You
should be able to control your own destiny starting from week 1, and that's not a case for half the teams right now.
All right, Ethan wants to know if we think Chase Young will be, or how long you think Chase Young will be suspended.
I don't think he'll play this week.
State.
Yeah.
I want to see him back for Penn State, too.
2 games, so 1 more game. I think he'll be back for Penn State. He'll play against Michigan. He'll be full throttle for the playoff and the Big Ten title game if they are to make it to those stages. So, you know, the latest is Ryan Day addressed it today. Nothing super new other than he is back at practice, and they're preparing for him to play as soon as this week. This week's irrelevant. They're playing Rutgers. It's about the last 2 games against Penn State and Michigan. I think he'll be back for those.
All right, Emery wants to know, what do you think about Ohio State? Do you think they are legit because they truly haven't played anybody other than Wisconsin who hasn't truly proved themselves?
I mean, yes, I do think they're legit, but to further on to that point, they haven't played anybody. Cincinnati's not the best team, but I think they're the best group of 5 team. They beat them by 41 points. I mean,
if you're comparing, say, Ohio State versus other teams in the top 5, Clemson and Alabama, OSU's schedule's a lot more impressive.
Yeah,
they haven't played the toughest
LSU's
schedule,
the only team that you can say they've clearly played a better schedule and have had better results against better competition. That's fair. Margin of victory is 42 points. That's hard to do against air.
Every single
they crush
game,
everybody.
They have won by at least 3 scores.
The closest
That's
game,
insane.
The closest game was Michigan State by 24.
That's it.
And Michigan State was ranked at the time.
Yeah. Doesn't count as a rank win, but they were.
No, but at the time, you know, that was a team playing better football than they are now.
They've dropped 70 twice this year. I know it was Maryland and my alma mater, but still, 70.
You beat a Power 5 team by scoring 70 points. Like Maryland's not Rutgers. They've got some talent. So Ohio State is outstanding.
Well, it only shows up in September, though. Now,
yes, of
if
course.
you guys are like us, you hate commercials. So get rid of them once and for all. Download the MyTV Choice app. It's available at chatsports.com/mytv for free, by the way. Download the app. Hook it up with your smart TV. The app will know when a commercial comes on, and instead of the free phone football, what commercials do you hate, Harrison? They're all terrible.
All the dating ad ones.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've just
Good
worn
choice.
out on those.
Yeah, because you're engaged now. You don't need those.
You know, exactly. The insurance ones.
Yeah.
They're just wearing me out. Download the MyTV Choice app. Get sports content from us here at Chat Sports.
And others. It's a great app there. It's free. It gets rid of commercials. Download it today. Chatsports.com/mytv. Elliot Troy, if Wisconsin dominates Iowa and Wisconsin, and then they lose by less than a touchdown to an undefeated OSU team in the Big 12 or Big 10 championship, would you put them in the CFP?
Can't even call you out for saying Big 12 because there are 12 teams in the Big 10
it's right
and 10
there.
teams in the Big 12. So
I'm an idiot. I'll take the L there.
Hey, you know, the numbers are kind of flawed there, so it's okay. It would depend what would happen outside of them. I think that's tricky. And the better question is, would the committee put them in? And that answer is absolutely no. They're very clear on Minnesota. Like
they've got Iowa this week.
They do not like Minnesota. Look, you beat
I think
Iowa.
there's a path though. Here is what I think is their path, and it's not easy by any means. But in theory, by the time Minnesota, if they win out, they will have, I think, jumped Oregon and jumped Utah. I hope before they play. Now, what you want is OSU's in. You're probably just going to cheer for LSU to win out. So there's your SEC one.
You know what else you need?
Auburn to win.
You need Bama to lose to Auburn.
You need Auburn to win, and then you probably need Utah and Oregon to both have 2 losses. So at that point, you're putting in LSU. You're putting in Ohio State. You probably want Clemson to drop a game just for, complexity. Let's just put Clemson. I think at this point, Minnesota has to be the 4th seed. You need Big 12, Pac-12 cannibalization. Which 2-loss champion? That's Minnesota's path, and it's dicey still.
But we know the committee thinks the Big 10 is clearly better than the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
Yes.
So if Minnesota's only loss is tight to Ohio State in the Big 10 title game, look, I think it's possible. And quite frankly, I would put that team in over 1-loss Alabama if they play Ohio State close, because they would have at least made their conference title game, and they would have better wins than Alabama.
All right, more chaos theory here from Austin Lewis. If Georgia drops another game, what are Florida odds? They need Georgia to drop 2. They need Georgia to finish with 3 conference losses.
Yeah, and they play
because they lose the tiebreaker.
And
the
it's
rest
not
of the way.
Completely impossible because they play Auburn this Saturday. You could lose that game on the road, and then you play Texas A&M, who's a capable football team. They haven't shown it a lot this year, but I'll put it this way. That's way more likely than the scenario earlier where we're like, LSU has to lose to Ole Miss. That's not happening. A&M has some good players. If that happens and Florida were to beat LSU in the SEC title game,
I think
they'd have a case.
I think LSU might have to drop another game. I worry about an OSU Penn State scenario here, where the thing goes, oh, LSU, you're still
in anyway,
and then Florida still gets left out. So
unless
I think you still might want an LSU
unless
loss.
It's the two SEC teams get in the playoff.
Then maybe that, and then you need the same scenarios.
You would need Pac-12, Big 12 help.
Exactly. So
but
it's dicey.
There's a very slight path there for Florida.
There is. It's not going to happen.
No.
Chaos theory's fun, but Florida, I
it's
think
a bit of a reach.
Go see if you can get in a New Year's Six bowl and go win that.
Absolutely.
And that's still a good year. I know it's not the
that's the worst thing about the playoff. We dispute all the other games. You go to a New Year's Six bowl, you had a hell of a season.
All right, Hannah wants to know why the committee loves the SEC so much.
Shout out to my fiance, Hannah, by the way. Appreciate her watching, shouting her out.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you guys...
my wife doesn't watch anymore.
Hey, haven't introduced you guys to her. Hopefully that'll happen in the near future.
Nice.
Appreciate you watching. I've said it throughout the night. They love Alabama. They love name brands. A lot of those name brand schools are in the SEC. You got Bama. You got LSU. You got Georgia. I can't tell you other than I don't think Alabama should be number 5. Their resume does not stack up this year. So that would be my answer to that, but I can't really tell you otherwise. I do think it's slightly the best conference this year in college football over the Big Ten, but it's not leaps and bounds better. I would type in SEC, but I would hesitate because I think Ohio State might be the best team out of all.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think if you're looking for power and you're looking for teams near the top, I think if you match them up, I'd probably lean SEC, but it's close. It's not as dominant as it's been in the past.
Well, I think it's more credit to Big Ten. Minnesota emerging. James Franklin building a consistent program at Penn State. In the past, it was Ohio State, maybe Michigan or Michigan State, no one else. There's 5-6, Wisconsin's another one. There's 5-6 programs every year now in the Big Ten that are top 25 caliber.
All right, Zevrik back again. Is the ACC weaker top to bottom than the American Athletic Conference? ACC fake Power 5, question mark. Does the Power 5 ever get reevaluated?
That's actually a good question and a good thought there because...
Look, Clemson makes it tough because the top, they are pulling them up so heavily.
And they have elite talent everywhere, probably 20 NFL players on that roster. I mean, Clemson is clearly the best team out of those two conferences. No one's going to question that. But the depth of the AAC is pretty strong this year. I mean, you got Memphis, you got SMU, Navy's a good team, UCF is still a quality team. There's 4 or 5 teams in the AAC that I think could win 6, 7, 8 games in the ACC.
Now, I think the very top, very bottom, it's still the ACC because you're dealing with teams like Connecticut and ECU who are they're not good. Tulsa, Houston's been pretty bad.
Duke, Syracuse would still beat UConn, and Duke would still beat,
But that
whoever.
heart, the AAC has more teams ranked than the ACC, and it's not even close, actually.
Well, yeah.
Navy,
it's
SMU,
4-1?
Cincinnati, Memphis, 4-1. That's insane.
Yeah,
so it's a discussion worth having.
I think 2 through about 7, I'd lean the American.
Yeah. All right, folks, we have a giveaway for you guys as well from our friends over on Kashiyama. Go follow them on Instagram at Kashiyama Tailors. That is at Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. That enters you to win a free sports coat from them. Oh, by the way, if we hit 3,200 followers on Kashiyama tonight, we'll Venmo that lucky winner $25. Only if we reach there, though, while we're live. Recent shout-outs here. Jacob, Brandon, Alex, Evan, John X, Rainer, Jose. Thank you all for following Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. If we reach that 3,200 mark, Venmo $25 tonight. All right, Genus Graham. Georgia or Ohio State, the better overall defense?
With Chase Young, it's Ohio State.
Yes, I agree.
I think so.
No disrespect to Georgia there.
Georgia's got an excellent defense. Their problems have actually been they don't have big plays in the passing game on offense, so they're having to have methodical drives. Jake Fromm's been underwhelming at times this year. I think Ohio State does have a better defense. Georgia's very good defensively. Yes. Their defense is not the reason they lost to South Carolina a few weeks back. They played very well in that game. The offense has been the problem there. I would still lean Ohio State, especially if Chase Young's playing, but it's close. Georgia's very good as well.
All right, folks, here is that top 6 of the college football playoff rankings just revealed to us here live on YouTube and on Facebook. LSU's 1, OSU's 2, Clemson is 3, Georgia's 4, Bama's 5, Oregon is 6. If you guys missed anything on today's show, the whole top 25, the discussion about Alabama, Minnesota, or our live Q&A, it's all coming up right now on Loop.